I am joined by the one and only Jerry Cornell, very good friend of ours, and I would say the first person to come up to our booth way back in the day, November of 2021,
Yeah,
2020,
yeah.
and at MouseCon and Concord, and really saw something in us. And I know that we will never forget that moment when you came up to us and said, "This is something super spectacular, and I really want to work with you guys." And we've been friends ever since. And you are just such a huge part of the Where in the Park team. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us
Oh, my
here
pleasure. My pleasure.
on this interview. We're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about your amazing DVDs that span not just Disneyland, but some other IPs as well. And this amazing DVD that we have here for our Standby Quest giveaway. We're going to get into all of that. But first, tell us a little bit about you and your story.
Well, back in the day when I was growing up, I loved Disneyland, like so many of your viewers love the parks. And my mom, we were very fortunate. My mom would take us a lot. And as I grew up, I found myself questioning, how do these attractions, how do they get made, and how are they, how do they operate, and what are some of the hidden secrets behind it? And so I would like search, but back in those days, we didn't have computers, we didn't have the internet. So we had to rely on books and magazines if there was such an article. The e-ticket came out, and that gave us a lot of information. But you grow up wanting to know more and more, and it seems like the more you know, the more you want to know. You know what I mean? It was like,
Absolutely.
yeah, you learn, you tip the first domino. Okay, well, what's the second domino? And before you know it, it's this maze of wonderful information. And I've never been one of those people that was like, I don't want to know the secret. I want to know, but I don't want to exploit it.
Right.
So as I got older, I thought there really should be something out there that help uh, convey these stories, and so I started theme Parkology with the intent of just doing a documentary on just Disneyland and its attractions. I wasn't even thinking attraction as a separate entity, but as a whole, Disneyland and the rides within it. So I did Disneyland in 1955 to 1959, and it was quite an experience. Yes, it was quite a little fun fact. I actually accidentally deleted the program, the whole thing twice, not once but twice. And
Oh,
the third time was a lot better, not by today's standards, because as you get more into editing, you get a little better at it. And I wanted to keep the whole show in black and white, just to give it that era feel to it. So I did the 1955 to 1959 documentary, and then I thought, well, for my second, I could easily do the 60s. I thought, let me do something different, and I was kind of looking around, and I came across an article about Tinkerbell, and I was reading the article, and again, I love history, and I found out the reference model for Tinkerbell was Margaret Carey, which I didn't know at the time. So Margaret, make a long story short, she invited me to her 50th birthday party to videotape it, to meet her, and then to discuss the project that I was thinking about. So we did. I went to the party. I didn't know all the people that were there. And I look back at the videos, and I think, Jerry Beck was there, and June Foray was there, and there were all these famous actors and actresses, and I didn't know who they were. I was just new into the world of documentary. So we did the documentary, and me and Margaret have a running joke that I'm one of the few people who have been alone with her in a room to do a full documentary, and we did. And then I did the character series, which was Tinkerbell. And then shortly after, the nice thing about knowing Margaret or anybody in the Disney community, I will say, is once you're in, they kind of introduce you to the circle of friends that they know, and they will introduce you into the circle of friends that they know, and so forth. So through Margaret, I got to meet like Eddie Carroll before he passed on, the voice of Jiminy Cricket. Ron Diaz, Disney illustrator and animator for Disney. And I got to do all these wonderful interviews, with everyone. And suddenly my theme Parkology little company, grew. And I had all these wonderful stories, all these, and I really began to realize that there are these wonderful people with wonderful stories that no one is sharing or telling. So, I decided to, let's do more of these. And I've been doing it since I want to say like 2009. So
Wow.
obviously the categories have split off, and so that's basically how I got started. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Wow.
ramble, but that's basically how.
No, no, that was great. And it actually answered a lot of our other questions that I had. So it's all good. Um, so if I'm hearing you correctly, like the ideas for one story to another kind of happens organically as you meet new people, or just as you like you have a spark for an idea to do the next attraction or the next, block of years or so on
Right.
and so forth.
That's originally how it started. Originally, it would just be, who can I talk to? Eddie Carroll. Okay, well, I'll do one on Jiminy Cricket. Who else can
Right.
I talk to? Bill Farmer. Okay, well, I'll do one on Goofy. Now, Bill Farmer was really, really nice. I mean, everyone was very nice. And back in those days, before the COVID outbreak, where everybody stays home, they would invite me to their home. So I would come to their homes, and I'd meet their spouse, and we would do lunch, and they took the time to really become friends. And I took that to heart, because who does that?
Yeah.
I'll probably never be friends with Brad Pitt, or because they're busy doing their thing and they have their group of friends. But these people, they really, and I think it's like that with all Disney actors and actresses. Once they get to know you, they want to know about you, and they're very friendly and stuff like that. So that was very nice. So it did start off that way, where who am I talking to next? June Foray. All right, I'll do one on June Foray. But then I started meeting Imagineers, and that's what changed the direction that I was going in. It was no longer going to be about theme parks. It was going to be about attraction that these amazing Imagineers like Bob Gurr and Rolly Crump, that they worked on, and Terry Hardin, and I as I got to know them, I got to be good friends with them, and we would call each other and, hey, what are you working on? And like Ellen Coates would say, oh, let's do an interview. I'll talk about my dad's work on this, or I'll talk about my work on this, and stuff. So it evolved, and that's how we got the different categories for theme parkology, like the attraction series and the dark ride series, and so forth. I think there's like 9 categories, so it
Yeah.
just evolved.
Yeah. You have, as of now, like 55 plus DVDs
Yeah,
spanning
isn't that
so
crazy?
many different series. It's crazy to know how you started to where you are now with all of your different series. Like you said, you have the theme parks, you have the attractions, the separate lands, the dark rides and ride through series, forgotten attractions, characters, theme parkology presents, which is, separate things there. And then you have the audio CD series and the
Yeah,
magazines. Like,
yeah,
it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And
yeah.
then now you have your new one, the Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue, that's on your website, and it's a new release. And so, like, just to see how you've grown over the last few years is just incredible.
Oh, thank
So
you. It's funny. Monsters Inc. I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and then a few years ago, I actually met Mary Gibbs, the voice of Boo from Monsters Inc. And we've been talking for a couple of years about doing a project together and collaborating. I met her father, who was just a wonderful guy. But like so often happens in life, a loved one is taken. And when Mary's father was had passed on, we really became good friends, and I wanted to make sure she was okay. And such a sweet girl. So we decided it's time. Let's collaborate. And we've been collaborating on a lot of projects, some that are coming out next year. And Monsters Inc. was one of those projects where she really wanted to do, and I really wanted to have her on it. I had interviewed some people for past projects, and they've all been wonderful. But there's something special about talking to Mary and people like her. They love what they do. They love sharing what they experience, and so that was a lot of fun. And I was so happy. It was one of those things where everything just fell into place, and I completed the documentary in like a record 2 weeks. It was done. So it was really, really, really good. I can't wait to see who I'm going to meet next, and which one I'm going to do now, and I look forward to them.
Yeah, Mary is fantastic. We've had the honor of meeting her on several occasions, and mostly at MouseCons, but she took the time to do a drawing of Randall
Oh
for a
yes,
shirt for my mom, and that was
yes,
that was so special. She's the biggest Boo fan, and so now she has stuff framed and everything for her, and she's such a joy to talk to, like you said.
yeah.
And
And that's the wonderful thing about these
yeah.
actors. They want to tell their story. They want to share their story, and people like Mary inspire me to bring back the character series, because I think I stopped for a while after I did. I want to say Goofy, Bill Farmer, or the voice of Betty Boop. I might have stopped there, but I was like 4 series or 5 series disc in to that series. And meeting Mary really inspired me to bring it back. So now we have, I think, 7 new character series documentaries in the work. Mary's, of course, and the voice of Andy from John Morris from Toy Story, and Amy O'Neill from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They've actually are at these conventions, and they want to share their story. So this is a perfect theme. Parkology is a perfect platform for everyone to share their stories. And I'm a giver, so I believe in giving. So I tell them, well, you share your story. I'll make sure you have these DVDs at your table at no cost, because it's they want to share their story. I want to help get them to share their story, and we all need to make money and move on to the next project to afford the next project. So that's what we do. We produce these documentaries. We give them 10, 20 documentaries, depending on what they need or what they ask for. We give it to them, and they sell them, and they make money, and they move on to the next project. And then I move on to the next character, and we do the same thing. I mean, this company, you have to be giving. You can't just be receiving, only because a lot of these people, they give their time to tell their stories, and sometimes their time is very valuable, or limited. Like June Foray, I was very lucky to have done an interview with her, and then a few short months later, she passed on. Same thing with Rolly Crump. I was really
Mhm.
lucky to get these interviews, and then they pass on, and you're like, wow, time is very short, and I really value and treasure that they gave me a moment of their time to share their stories, so that these stories will live on in these documentaries. So, that's why I
Mhm.
do what I do. I like to preserve the history of these stories.
Absolutely. And what I love about all of your documentaries is not only do you have, the script that has so many facts and details about the parks or the characters that we all love, but you have some amazing footage and imagery from the either the timepiece, the time period, or the character, how does that come from the people that you're interviewing, or where do you get that footage for your documentaries?
Well, a lot of the footage, I try to take myself. I mean, current projects usually get updated video footage, or sometimes photo footage from myself, my camera. Sometimes I'll ask generous people like yourself and your husband, who just recently did some photo and video shoots for me for the upcoming Galaxy's Edge project. So I'll ask friends who attend the park that I know they have, you know, the little key cards and they go often. And then sometimes I'll do the royalty-free video people put out, and I'm very grateful that they take the time to videotape such things, even interviews, and they'll say, okay, here, anybody want to use it for whatever reason. Photos are the same way. Sometimes the celebrity says, I'll send you some photos. Amy sent me, Amy O'Neill, for her project, sent me like a lot of photos that otherwise I would have taken a long time to get. So, you know, I scour, but I also don't just take what they wanted me to use. I credit every single person. I mean, and that's what's important to me, is that I want to credit everyone. You know, I was once asked, why do you put so much credits at the end of your documentary? And it's simple, because they should be credited. They should be, you know, they're a part of this. They help make this complete documentary. You know, I can't tell the story with just myself and, you know, my little camera. You know, I mean, it takes a team, it takes a village. So yeah.
Absolutely. And like I said, this DVD here from 1955 to 1959, there are some images and video that I hadn't seen before. And I know Kevin hadn't seen it before either. And you know, we like to think we know the park.
Yeah.
You know, but
And
then
you do.
yeah, but when you see it in this new way, you know, that was my favorite part about watching the documentary, was just seeing what was
Mhm.
and knowing what is, and like putting those two worlds together, because Disneyland today is very different from how it
Yes.
was in 1955, and especially before the World's Fair in 64, right? So there's so much history there in that short period of time, from the building of Disneyland to its early years, and to have all of that footage preserved in this documentary is so valuable to everybody, you know, and it's preserved for many years to come. So I can't thank you enough for putting this together and having this be your first documentary. And I'm glad you went through all of the
The
pain and
the
effort to
failed
put it
edits.
together 3 times.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. As I progress, as the years have gone by, and I've gotten many wonderful opportunities, I met so many wonderful people, so many I can't name them all, and not just celebrities and Imagineers, but people who have pictures that, you know, of stuff that I've never seen. You know, it's sad to think that 10, 15 years down the road, they become dated, such as the Disneyland in 55,
Mhm.
59, because what I mean by that is it's a great documentary, but I always look at it and think, wow, now I have more footage. You know, I have more better footage, clearer, crisp footage. I have, you know, I don't know if people know this, but Disneyland at one point had, especially in the 50s, they had actual cowboys, you know, walk the streets and greet guests, and they had clowns that actually would meet people in the various lands. And you know, they had police officers and stroll around Main Street, and I think people would love to see that. And I'm like, you know, I don't want to go back and add it on. So I'll create another series, which I'm sure we'll talk about, another new documentary where I can utilize those footage and stuff. But yeah, I always get frustrated that, oh, I got this footage, I don't want to go back and put it in. Although I have done that
Remastered.
before. I
You
have
can do a
I have
remastered set.
I have done yeah, right. I have done that before where I it was the canal boats. I had just finished it and released it. And a week later they announced that they were shutting it down to add Arendelle, the frozen city there. And I was like, what? I just released this. So I actually emailed everybody that bought a copy and said, "Hey, I'm stopping the sale. I've already shipped your product, but here's what's happening." Explain. I want to put it in. And then yeah, they were like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we'll wait," or "Yeah, yeah, we'll take another copy," or some we even say, "No, it's good. You know, it's all right. It's all good. I got something rare." You know, it's so funny. It's rare because this little footage is not in. But yeah, then a couple of months later, when it was official and it was, you know, released and open to the public where you could see Arendelle, I went and I filmed it and I added it into the to the to the documentary and then took it off the shelf and put it back out circulation. Things like that do happen. But then sometimes it's so far down the road that, it's like I can't go back and re-add footage to it. So I'll have to find a clever way to share it with other people.
Yeah, we have the same thing with our game packs. As soon as we released Disneyland Series 1, Toontown went under construction. And so all of our Toontown images had to be pulled and revamped. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
a never-ending project.
Yeah,
when
but
things
that's what
when things
Disneyland
happen.
is. It's a forever
Yeah.
growing, it's forever changing.
Yeah,
Um, and so, I mean, a lot of it's positive. I love
absolutely.
the new dark rides. They just look amazing. They added the
Yeah.
animation and I know there were some people like, why, why change it? But it adds to the entertainment, I think. So that's just my
Yeah.
opinion. I mean, a lot of people
Oh,
have their own, but I love the entertainment value of each ride. So, and Walt did say, it would forever change. It would be worked upon and grow and expanded and improved. So,
yeah.
so why not?
Absolutely. I think he would embrace every piece of new technology or create it himself, or have his
Yes,
team create it and always look to the future. So I know that he would be proud of all of the advancements in technologies and having it be brought into the parks. Um, with the dark rides and the projection mapping and everything,
yes,
it's incredible what they
yes.
can do.
And
So
I know a lot of people. I don't really like to get into how I feel about what's happening with the parks. The price increase and the key changes and all the stuff. But I will say that I love that Disney keeps moving forward. A lot of people complain about this and that, and water costs this much and so forth. But it's a company that has to support itself, and I think a lot of people forget that. And in a lot of ways, Disney, if it weren't for Disney, we wouldn't have entertainment values. We wouldn't have some place to take our kids and enjoy and share memories with. We wouldn't have theme parkology. We wouldn't have, you know, anything to explore, to enjoy, and everything. So I love the parks, and not just Disney, but various parks. We also do documentaries on Universal Studios Frontier Village when it was there in San Jose, and various other parks next year. We're expanding that. So I think people lose sight that yeah, it's a company that needs to afford to run every day, every day.
yeah,
That's you know, Monday through Sunday, 365, and it's only shut down because of COVID, but even then they're losing money and how are they gonna, restart and everything. So I think a lot of people lose sight of that, but I understand their frustration too. It's not all things about Disney's not always happy, but you go to the parks, you just forget all about that.
yeah, yeah. And Kevin says all the time that if it weren't for Walt and what he created with Disneyland, the theme park industry today would not be the same.
It would not.
And
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, so to walk through Disneyland and know that like this was it still is the benchmark, you know, and that Walt had that vision when nobody else did, you
Right,
know? And it's very inspiring when you step back and really appreciate all that the park has to offer from that point of view.
right.
So, um, yeah. Well, I want to know, what is your favorite theme parkology documentary?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I love the work that Sandra Nelson, the young actor who played Darth Vader in several of the Star Wars films. He actually did Pirates of the Caribbean, and I love the interviews that we did for that. And he edited the whole thing, and he added the animated effects, and that really is one of my favorites. But I have to say my all-time favorite, and it's a simple documentary where I think a lot of people would find it boring, is Rivers of America. I don't know what it is about. It's just I just love the storyline behind it. I love the simplicity of the ride and the relaxing and the story, and Walt working on the Tom Sawyer Island, and the changes that it underwent. And that to me is one of my favorite ones, because I like documentaries, and documentaries have to be, it can't always be about fun, whimsical attractions. It has to be about, some of the lesser popular attractions. I do love that one. I also love the forgotten attraction, the mine train through Nature's Wonderland, because I went on it when I was very young. I have vivid memories of it, and it's good to go back and relive that. In all my attraction documentaries, I had a ride through, so it was fun to piece together a complete ride through of Nature's Wonderland, and then to watch it and feel like I was there. Oh, I remember that. And oh, we're going into the cave. It's a little scary, and oh wait, it's not so scary. All these wonderful thoughts that you thought when you were actually on the attraction. I want to point out too that one of the reasons why we do these documentaries is to bring back those memories. So uh, that's probably another one of my favorites. Are you going to ask me what my least favorite is? Because
You have one? I wasn't going
uh,
to, but if you have one.
believe it or not, I have one, only because I wish I had more information on it, and
Okay.
I'm limited by only how much information I get and how much photos and images I can obtain. That determines how these projects and the time of these projects are going to be. But one of the ones we did was it was so short. It was the rocket ride, rocket to Mars, or to the
Mhm.
moon, rocket to the moon. And as it progressed, it became uh, expanded much. So I thought it was going to be a great documentary. That it was going to be all the stuff. I couldn't find anyone to interview that worked on it. Footage was very scarce, so I had little to work with, and it ended up being like 20 minutes, and I was like, I can't release a 20-minute video, you know. So that was probably my least. To save the project, I actually added another Tomorrowland in that era, the flying saucer ride, and I did get Bob Gurr to do an interview for that. So it expanded that story a little bit more. But it's I wish I had more. I wish, and I cringe every time somebody orders it. I'm like, well, please don't complain. Please don't complain.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I think that, to your point, going back to Nature's Wonderland, like for those like me who never got to experience that, right? Like the fact that you have footage and the ride-throughs of those attractions, that it's one thing to hear about it, it's another to fully, well, not fully because we weren't there, but to experience it on another level.
Yes.
And so I think that even if you just have a small clip, or images, those are things that some of us never got to experience. And so just anything that can be provided to preserve the history is still a win in my book. And, I know you set the bar high in your standards of, having a full-length documentary about a certain attraction, but for me, just having those small nuggets of history and learning more about an attraction that I never got to see, that is what's special to me. So
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad that you can enjoy those films. I mean, that's what we're all about. Sometimes we get a documentary idea like Adventures Through Inner Space, where it was a classic. Everyone loved that attraction. It was back, in the '60s, and not everybody got to ride it, and people have heard about it. And the problem is there's just no footage. There's just none. I mean, you might get a little bit of footage here and there, but not enough for a whole documentary. So that's why I created the audio CD, so that I can get a narrator to walk you through, the construction and what it took to build these. And I can even insert interviews from Bob Gurr and, people that worked on it. And add it all, it's all audio, so that's where the audio CDs came from.
I think the audio CDs are great too because it offers your imagination to take you to these places. So, like, again, I never went on adventures through inner space, but through the audio and hearing it described and hearing the work that went on behind it through the interviews and everything, my imagination paints that picture of what it must have been like to go through that ride, or it just it brings it to it's a different level. It's a different
Yeah.
level of immersion. I think that it's awesome. And from your magazines as well, having those full color pictures, it just it brings it brings a different world to your, what am I trying to say?
Well, to
But
your
it brings
imagination, it gives
it,
you a clear
yeah,
picture of something
yeah,
you didn't see, and that's
exactly.
that's the whole idea behind the audio CDs. I mean, even though you can't visually see any footage, we can describe it. I mean, we're working on a slew of projects for the audio series now. Captain EO,
Hmm.
uh, that's one that's you know, most likely copyrighted because it's a film, and I don't want any kind of legal problems. So I
Right.
will describe it. I do an audio. We did an interview with Terry Hardin, who worked on it,
Hmm.
on several parts of it. So we'll add that to it, and then there are some other things like theme parks that never got made. Like Edison
Right.
Square in Main Street.
Hmm.
We're working on a script for that where uh, we talk about what was going to be in it and what it was going to look like, and we'll have someone edit it. I like to have an actor go in and play a part of a captain for Captain EO, or a professor for Adventures Through Inner Space, and you know, so we'll describe Edison Square and what it was supposed to look like, but because it never got built, there are no footage, there are no drawings, there are no, so it fits better as an audio, but it still informs everybody, this
Right.
is what was going to be there,
Yeah. Yeah, we have the map in our hallway, um that has Edison Square,
yeah,
and just to, again, with Walt's imagination and saying like I want, this over here and it'd be cool to have this, and the books of the Disneylands that never were is so fascinating to read, because again it takes your imagination there of like, okay, I know what Disneyland is now, but this is
right.
what it could have been. And it just is, it's crazy, it's crazy.
We
You can go
also
down a whole rabbit hole with that.
well, we also do a documentary on I don't want to call it a documentary, but we also, like, a lot of these attractions have a story, a fictitious story that help guides, the storyline of the attraction, such as the Haunted Mansion. And there's a lot of different tales, a lot of different characters. So we actually took that and we tell the stories that the Haunted Mansion is connected to. We have a hauntedly good host that's in character, and he talks about all these characters. And next year we're expanding that to a second part of the stories, to tell even more stories. And we're redoing the Haunted Mansion documentaries, which I have to say is something we've never done, because once the documentary is done, it's done. if it expands, we'll do a disc too, but this is the first time I'm actually taking the Haunted Mansion off the shelf. And then I will be redoing it in two parts. One will be the history of how it got constructed, and the interviews that I did do with Rolly and Bob pertaining to that. But then the second part will be about what it is today. It's going to be under construction pretty soon. So we'll add that, and we'll talk about the overlay, the Jack Skellington Nightmare Before Christmas overlay. We'll talk about that. We did an interview with Gardner Holt, who worked on a lot of the figures, and he'll talk about that. And and that'll be current. It'll be updated. It'll be the only one that we will be pulling off the shelf, I think. But you never know.
Right.
But yeah,
That'll be so much fun. We love your Haunted Mansion one. The CD is fantastic.
well, thank
Highly
you.
recommend that one. And well, I recommend all of them, but the Haunted Mansion CD was so much fun to listen to. And I cannot wait for this second edition, if you will, of the Haunted Mansion, because there is so much to talk about. And I'm really excited for
Yeah.
I'm bummed it's going to be under construction for so long, but I get it. And it's going to be amazing once it's finished. So
Yeah, and I think everyone's going to love it. What is your favorite theme Parkology DVD?
I was not expecting this question. I don't know, because like I said, the ones of the past, the Nature's Wonderland, those are special because I never got to see it. I never got to experience those. So like those have a special place in my heart. But then I like the interviews, like with Mary Gibbs. It brings her stories, and you feel her excitement to the project. Bob Gurr, of course, he has a bazillion stories, but they're all so passionate about what they provided for the Disney company and what it means to them today and all of that. So, oh, I don't know if I have like a favorite.
Well, they're probably all your favorite then.
I do. I love them all. I do.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, and it keeps growing, and just when I think, okay, well, Disneyland's pretty much done, I think maybe I should focus on Walt Disney World or a different theme park. A new attraction emerges. The Mickey and Minnie
Hmm?
Runaway came out, and then oh, well, I can do one on that. And I will say too that uh, through the years, because I've done this for so long and met so many people, I'm very fortunate that they remember, hey, this Imagineer worked on this. You want to talk to him? Like, yeah, I
Mhm.
just recently met Bill Cotter, who worked on the Space Mountain attraction. We'll be talking to him, and I interviewed him for the World's Fair project. So I like that. Theme Parkology keeps growing. I like that when an idea works, and I miss when an idea doesn't work. But that's how it is with every company. I'm sure you have tons of where in the park cards that sell, and then you have like one that sells one or two, and that happens too. Sometimes I think, oh, this is going to be great, it's going to sell out, and then hardly anybody buys it. And then there are times when, oh, I think this is not going to do so well, and it sells really well. You just never
Yeah.
know. But there's so many. I guess that's a compliment, because that in a sense it's saying that there's something there for everyone.
Hmm.
you know so even the ones that don't sell well, there are people who want that, who want to know about that history. So
Yeah, absolutely. We've gone through our iterations, like our very first MouseCon, we had mystery packs, and we just had cards that went with the mystery stickers that you were getting, and we have completely shifted from those days. So you just don't know until you put it out there, what works, what doesn't. You get the feedback
Yeah.
and just pivot and roll right along.
Yeah. I mean, you just keep hoping, you keep moving forward. You go on to the next project,
That's
and
right.
then you hope it does well, but even if it doesn't, okay, well, go on to the next project and maybe that one will do well. Yeah. Or in our case, the
Absolutely.
cards will do well.
So speaking of our cards, we know that you have gone on a Where in the Park scavenger hunt a
I
time or
have.
two at Disneyland. Were there any cards that had you looking at the park in a new way? A detail that you might not have noticed before?
But one thing I like about your cards is that it's something that I can do with, like in this case, I went with my oldest daughter, Danielle, and I went to the parks and we tried out your cards, and I've been wanting to do that for a while now. There's a few things I want to do with your cards, but at that time we decided let's scavenger hunt. And I like that we can scratch them off and look at all the ones, and then when we're in that land, we feel like, oh, this card's probably going to be here. We can look for it. We did find a few, uh, and we took photos. I sent them to you. It was a lot of fun. I mean, it really, really was a lot of fun. And it's, when you're on vacation, you're usually with someone you love. Whether it's your wife, husband, uh, boyfriend, girlfriend, children. You're always with someone, and you want to not only experience the joy and excitement of the parks and its attractions and its food, entertainment, and everything. You want to enjoy that with them, but your cards are nice because that's just something else I can enjoy. My daughter and I had a blast looking for them. They weren't too difficult. They weren't easy either. Uh, and I think it's because my daughter and I have gone to the park so often that, like, where have I seen that? Where in the park have I seen that? And she'll suggest, and we'll go look, and then I'll suggest something. Then when we find it, it's just that much more rewarding. We found it, even though we didn't win a prize or just the fact that we know the park so well that we were able to find it is its own reward. So I love your packs. I can't wait to see what you're gonna. I love your packs so much that I wanted to um, work with you guys. I wanted to work on something with you guys. I'm not sure if you're going to talk about this later or not, but uh, we did collaborate and we did work on something, and uh, that's how much I love your work.
Well, like I said, you were the first to come up to our booth in the very first show and saw something special in us. And even though it was those mystery packs, and just seeing the picture of us from that day to where we are now, it's really hard to believe how far we've come. But I mean, that's for both of us. There's been so much that has happened in the last few years, um, that have really pushed and stretched us to where we are today. And so, like I said, I know we are so grateful for you for lighting that spark in us and to like really validate, that we're here for the right reason, that we what we have is so unique, and your DVDs are super unique as well. And we offer details of the park that people need to know about and share the park that we love so much in new ways. So thank you so much
Oh,
for always being there for us and supporting us. And you are that person for us to introduce us to new people all of the time.
well, I love to introduce people all the time. I love to surprise people. In fact, Mary Gibbs and I were talking about maybe going to Disney California and getting in line several times on the Monsters Inc. ride. And when we did the interview for Monster Inc., she said it's funny that people, I'll go on the ride, and they sit up to six people in one cab, and she said they have no idea that they're sitting next to the voice of Boo. So I said, let's go to the park and get on some rides, and we'll giggle quietly, and after the ride, we'll approach the people and say, hey, this is Mary Gibbs, the voice of Boo, and just to see their reaction, and film it, for our upcoming streaming show on Theme Parkology. And I really love introducing people to other people. I'm a people person. I love people. When I saw your booth, why wouldn't I stop there? I mean, it's just a fantastic product, and you guys are just wonderful people. So, it's just hand in glove, it's just a perfect fit. So, yeah, we still have a lot more people to meet, and a lot more conventions to attend to, and more exciting things coming from both of us. And like I said, collaboration, and that's just one collaboration. I'm working on a second idea. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, where will you be next?
Oh, well, right now I'm actually working on several projects. So I'm at home for a while, uh, working on theme parkology projects, as well as adventurous idea projects. And I will be at MouseCon in January. I believe it's the 27th. But then we'll be all over the state, probably Texas and Canada, and we're expanding. So we'll be at various cities and states soon. So I'm excited.
Lots to come in 2024, that's for sure.
Yes, yes.
Well, like he mentioned, we both, Where in the Park and Theme Parkology and Adventurous Ideas, we will all be together at MouseCon Bakersfield in Kern County Fairgrounds. Be there. January 27th. Wish me a happy birthday. It'll be on the 28th. It's from 10 to 5 on the 27th. Adults are $10. Kids 12 and under are free. Parking is $5. And you want to be there right at 10 to experience all of the amazing booths. But then at 11, you want to be there for the Adventurous Ideas panel. Jerry and all of his friends from Adventurous Ideas are going to be there, and you will not want to miss all of the exciting announcements and previews and everything that they have to share in their panel. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's funny. Because I've been fortunate to meet all these wonderful people doing these wonderful projects. I did get the nerve. I met Andrew Nelson at a convention, and I didn't want to meet him. I mean, I didn't. He just looks intimidating, and I kept going past his booth. I kept wanting to talk to him.
Is it because he's Darth Vader? Is that why he's intimidating?
I don't know. I was new to the world of interviews. I had a press pass. I was new to that. It's like, why would anybody give me a press pass? And I didn't even know how to use a press pass. And then, so finally, I just said, well, what do I got to lose? Worst case, he'll say no to an interview. So I walked up to him, and he does this thing at his convention where he meets somebody, and then he slowly stands up, and he's tall. So he did that, and I'm thinking, did I do the right thing? I mean, should I just turn around and walk away because he's tall? But I pressed forward, and we talked, and he liked what I was doing, and we switched numbers. And then the funniest thing happened. We started texting each other, and I was relatively new to texting, and I think he was also. Thanks to that, we became expert, because we text like teenage girls every day, every night. We text each other. But we decided we wanted to put together a company, Adventurous Ideas, where we can create original stories and add actors to narrate and voice the characters, and with the original musical scores and storyline and uh, effects, and make it come to life. So we actually started with Heroes of Extinction and Dark Park, and we're getting ready to release those really soon. But we have so many scripts in the works. We have so many actors and actresses that want to work with us in various genres like Disney and Pixar and Doctor Who and Star Trek and Star Wars. And, it's just, every time Andrew goes somewhere, he introduces himself or knows people, and they'll ask him, what are you working on? And, oh, we're working on an audio series. And they say, I want in, I'll do it. It's blown up into something really big. So if you guys do go to MouseCon, go to the panel. It's going to be very exciting. So we'll explain more about what we're doing and everything.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, you and C. Andrew Nelson, hand in glove. Like,
Yeah,
you both are amazing at making connections, and you both love people, and the two of you together, like, you have brought so many people together for not just Adventurous Ideas, but for all of your other projects as well. And it's just, you guys are like the perfect team. It's
yeah.
just, it's so
We're Martin
great.
and Lewis, and
Yeah.
then Pinky and the Brain, and we're very blessed. But that's what it is. We're just both blessed, and we want to share our blessings with everyone. And we just love people, and we love working with people. We like creating ideas and stories, and these superhero stories are great, and detective stories and love stories and fantasy type stories. These are all great stories, but it all begins with an idea, and then we pitch it to a writer, and the writers are so talented. They're crazy talented, and they take it and they write an original script, and then we take it and put it in screenplay format. And but like you said, it's Andrew and I are just a great team. We're just a great pair that we can get these projects done. We each have our strong suits in what we do, and who we can connect each other with. He brings in a lot of the sci-fi. I bring in a lot of the Disney, and together we just created adventurous ideas. I mean, really adventurous ideas. We really do. So I'm looking forward to just sharing it with everyone. So that's coming up in 2024. So you're right, 2024 is going to be epic.
Yeah. And we've had the honor of being able to be behind the scenes a little bit for Adventurous Ideas, and there is so many exciting things coming down the pipe. It's going to be incredible. So you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Again, 11 o'clock is the panel for Adventurous Ideas at MouseCon Bakersfield, January 27th. You can go to mousecon.com to get all the details and get your tickets and get all the information. So it is going to be a blast, and we cannot wait to see you there. But for now, Jerry, where can the people find you?
They can find me on my website, www.themeparkology.com. We give updates and talk about the latest projects, and they can also subscribe to my newsletter that's there on the top of the website page. They can go to my Facebook at Theme Parkology. They can go to my YouTube channel, which is also Theme Parkology, and see a lot of the clips and that we offer, a lot of the trailers and videos and stuff like that. So I'm around, I'm on social media here and there, and you can find me. Just gotta look. Just type in Theme Parkology and a bunch of stuff will pop up.
Yes, and you can explore the website, go down that rabbit hole. There is so much to explore on themeparkology.com. A lot of different trailers, and you can see all the series that we talked about, and there's a lot to explore. So if you are a fan of Disneyland, definitely check out themeparkology.com. All right. Well, Jerry, thank you so much
Oh,
for
no
spending
problem.
time with us and for hopping on and sharing more about the the story behind theme parkology and about adventurous ideas.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having
So
me.
absolutely. So again, this is the price for our standby quest. So to enter, all you have to do is go to our social media and play our standby quest games. For each post of our standby quest, um, you just put in the name of the attraction that you think the image is found in. If you are right, you get a bonus entry. And go to Theme Parkology on Facebook and give them a follow and spread the word because we are all theme park fans. That's why we're here. And we need to spread the love. And like I shared the other day, we're all small businesses. And one of the best things that you can do for a small business is share the love. Share it with your friends and family, share a post, just spread the word about the amazing work that people like Jerry do each and every day. So themeparkology.com, we're in the park.com. And yeah, I think that's it. So until next time, we will see you somewhere in the park.